Dan,
Yes.
it is hot outside.
Really? Yeah, I didn't notice.
You didn't notice. How come you have like 3 shirts with you then? Oh my gosh, it is hot.
I know.
Yeah.
Terrible.
This is the end of July, and it's just amazing what heat can do to a body. I remember when I was a young boy, I was just impervious to heat. And now I just fold up like a cheap lawn chair.
Yeah, it drains you. I was the same way. Growing up on the farm, summers making hay and working outside never affected me. But now it's like the next day, even that evening, I'll come in the evening and I'm just drained. I can't. I sit down and I'm asleep within 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that was also back in the day before we knew the damages that the sun has on your skin, and the health risks of all that too.
Yeah,
That makes things a little bit even worse. I try to avoid the sun, and but you can't avoid the heat,
right.
you know. I think, okay, I like summer, um, but there's something to be said about the winter, where if you are like if it's really cold outside, you can escape the cold because you can like layer up.
Yep. I'm the same way. I always think it's easier to stay warm than it is to cool off. So,
Yes.
yep, you can.
Yes. And that's like in the summertime, there's just no escaping the heat. Even if you can get into the shade. But man, at least where the part of the country that I live in, I would imagine it's the same up where you are too. Oh my gosh, the humidity and just how heavy the air is. It sometimes makes me wish I would have chose, instead of delivering firewood, I would have delivered, cotton candy or pillows or something.
Or ice, bags of ice,
Yeah.
where you'd have to go into the cooler and stack them.
Yeah.
That would be the ticket right there.
Oh, yeah. The heat is just, well, but I think too, when you think about making firewood or stacking it or even delivering it, there was this obscure band from the 80s called Stone Temple Pilots, and they had a lyric that really stuck with me over the years, and was there it seems like so much depends on the weather. And certainly in firewood, I think that's true. The weather, when I had my desk job, and when I thought of making this transition to self-employment and selling firewood, the one thing that I absolutely was blind to, but yet has probably one of the largest impacts on everything that I do, is the weather.
Yeah, I can believe that. That's
Yeah, the weather.
so. What is your favorite? I guess season. Would that be what we? Yeah, like what do you think is your ideal season for doing firewood?
And you're talking about winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Yes.
Well, I think I can find something wrong with all of them.
Which is your favorite? None.
Yeah. So, oh boy, that's tough. I I don't know. When I'm in the summertime, I think it's the wintertime. When I'm in the wintertime, I think it's the summertime. When I think it's the fall, I think it's the spring. When I think it's the spring, I think it's the fall. I'm just all over the place. I think though, if I were to let's attack this problem this way, Dan. What would be the ideal weather conditions for a nice, pleasant day of making firewood? There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's let's see. I would have to say overcast,
definitely.
breezy,
Yes.
and maybe like in the mid 60s, 70. you
Really?
know.
I was leaning more towards the 50s.
Well, I like to work with, my with short sleeve shirt on, and, not
Yeah.
have, because sometimes if you have a jacket or like a sweatshirt on and you really get into the groove, you get too hot and then you got to take it off and then you cool down. It's so I like that
Yeah.
mid 60s, I think is the right range.
Yeah, but I think what you had mentioned, the key one for me is thick overcast clouds.
Yes.
The thicker the better, but no precipitation.
Yes. Cloudy with zero chance of rain.
Yes. Uh-huh. I have my own personal standards, and the one standard is I do not work in the rain. If it's raining, I just don't work.
Yep.
Which pays off here in Northeast Ohio because that means I work like 10 days out of the year because it seems that it rains out here all the time.
Now, have you ever considered like having some type of shelter that you could potentially, work rain, sun, snow, and be under, like, like a big pole barn type structure?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be nice just to have a
Yeah.
nice air conditioned, well lit factory that you got for free, yeah, that
Yes.
did
Yes.
with free utilities. I had I am planning this of putting like a carport over top of my machine, my firewood processor.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, you know, to be honest, I'm not at it that long of the day, but I think keeping it under the roof would pay off over time.
Yeah.
I'm the majority of my time, it takes me longer to stack firewood that I made than it did making it. So if I need a roof, I don't know, maybe they should invent, or I should make like a big carport that's on wheels and I can just like push it around to where I'm stacking, and stay under it.
That is
Stay under
actually a
it like
great
that.
idea. Yeah.
That is actually a great idea. Maybe I need to look into something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been considering some type of similar structure, either a carport or just like a pavilion type structure that, if because I look at it as, if it's raining, you really can't do anything. But if you had a shelter, you could be splitting or processing and then wait for the nice weather to stack. And so it would kind of give you that flexibility to at least get something done if, the weather was not cooperating.
Right. I just don't like working in the rain. Snow doesn't bother me. Rain does. I think it's dangerous. The ground gets slippery. The logs, that's the big one. The logs, it seems like when you're working with tree length wood, or if you're like moving stuff around, it has like this certain texture or predictability, the way that they move. And when they're wet, everything changes. And I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And it also makes ugly firewood too. When you make firewood in the rain, all of the crumbs and the junk stick to it, and then that gets into your pile, and then it dries on top of it, and it just looks ugly, I think.
Yeah, and I go through multiple pairs of gloves, which I hate working with wet gloves.
Oh yes, I do. It's just the rain too. My lot has well documented drainage problems, and just the rain is just awful. If I am being honest, there are two weather phenomenon that will shut me down. One is the heat, and the second one, mud.
Mud.
Yeah,
Oh,
mud. Yeah, mud. The snow doesn't shut me down. You know, um, the the frigid cold of winter, high winds, nothing. But man, the heat of summer. But man, when mud comes, mud ruins everything.
so you actually, so the rain, so you're shut down in the rain and then afterwards with the mud. So it's
Yeah,
like double
well,
whammy.
I don't work in the rain, So if it has just quit raining, I'll go out, but if it's muddy, that stops everything, because you can't get your machines moved around. I can't get my trucks to where they need to go. You can't make firewood in mud because it's just, I mean,
Dirty.
I've I have rejected trucks that have come here with logs simply because they were covered in mud, where they got drug out of the forest, to the landing during muddy conditions.
Have you have you ever seen any of those videos where there's like a skidder pulling like 10 logs through like 4 foot deep mud, like
Yeah,
slop,
jeez. Uh-huh.
and like they're just like floating through the mud, and it's like, oh my goodness. But
If there
yeah,
was a and if there was a microphone in the cab, the guy was saying, "We got to hurry up and get these to Joe."
let's get these over to Ohio Woodburner
Yeah,
ASAP.
yeah. But mud shuts down the logging companies too.
Yep.
I see these guys, they work in the heat. But maybe they got air conditioning in their cabs, or they're in the shade, or they're just
Yeah.
tougher than us.
Do you guys down here in Ohio, do you have the road bans that go on in the spring when you can't haul certain weight limits on roads or not?
I don't know. I have heard my one trucker, log hauler, Jesse, talk about like different temperatures, the roads. He said the roads towards because the roads have a crown, right?
Yep.
They're higher on the dotted line, and then they slope towards the gutter there. That I think that in the hot weather, his truck feels a little tippy driving like that. Which to me, that's like that would make me just call off for the day because those things are scary. But he's like, oh yeah, they're a little tippy.
Yeah, that's what we have up in Wisconsin. We have in the spring there's road bans that go on where you can't haul, heavy loads on the road because of the frost and the
Oh wow.
frost going out, so the roads are, you end up driving over them with, like say log trucks, and the road is, deformed then because they have big depressions where the tires go. So yeah, we've got the weather. Even if the weather's nice, sometimes there's, restrictions on getting stuff done with
Yeah.
firewood.
I have a belief too. What is the absolute worst time to make firewood, weather wise? And that is when the temperature is 35 degrees.
That is a very yes, I will agree.
Yeah, it's miserable because it's cold, but the ground isn't frozen. It's just amazing how much 10 degrees can bring you between you know 35 degrees and 25 degrees. Oh,
Oh
when it's
yeah,
25 out, the ground's frozen hard, you can do anything you want. But when it's 35 degrees, it's just mud and squishy. And I we process right into a dump trailer, and then we take the dump trailer to where we're going to stack. All it takes is just to drop that log onto the ground, and it's ruined. It's just got the
it's
whole one side is just covered in mud.
yep, it's done.
It's
Throw
just
it out.
yeah.
QC quality control reject.
Yeah, we keep a wheelbarrow next to when we stack because all the garbage wood goes to my woodshed, and then off it goes. But man, 25 degrees, oh, so nice.
Yeah, yeah. It's I'm still thinking like, what is my ideal time of the year for? Because growing up on the farm, it was always my dad had all his firewood made by Easter, so he didn't have to make firewood during the summer. And then in the winter he would start making it again to be done by Easter. So like he always took summer and fall kind of off from firewood.
Oh wow,
Uh,
I think the fall's a nice time.
yeah.
I like the cooler temperatures. I just love the smell in the air, and the leaves falling. I think all that's cool. The problem with fall for me is when it rains, it's going to be there until next June, because the ground doesn't dry up.
Right. Yep.
The ground doesn't dry up in the fall. When you start getting that real big rain, like in October, that's it. It's mud
Yep.
season until you get the cold weather of the winter time. Uh, that's what fall is to me. The other thing though with fall is that's my delivery heavy time of the year, and I
Oh,
probably don't make as much wood as I would want to. But the fall is generally a good time, but it has its downsides too.
Yeah, that's when that makes sense. In the fall, everyone's getting ready to burn in the winter, so you're out getting wood delivered.
Yeah. And then the spring is tough. I think the spring is real tough. You have more time to make wood because your deliveries have tapered off a little bit, but the ground just is just mud. And I think too, there's like a fatigue from a long winter. And maybe that would be the time to take a vacation, like in early spring, because the weather's just garbage. It's raining all the time. It's cold. It's not drying up. And it's just not good time to make firewood. And you just wear rubber boots everywhere you go. Oh, squish, squish, squish.
See, I don't deal with that. I have pretty really sandy soil, so I seldom have mud, which is it's really nice.
Oh, wow. That's a blessing then for
Yep.
you. Then we have summer, which, you do get some good days. You get a nice 70-degree overcast day. You can really get a lot done. But man, is there a big difference between 70 and 80, and then
Yep.
80 and 90.
Oh
Oh my
boy.
gosh. Yeah. I have high levels of guilt when I am dealing with the heat, and I'm just saying I'm not working, you know, and I'll sit inside and do paperwork and stuff, but then you start feeling guilty. I need to go out and do something and be
Right.
productive, but it's not healthy.
Yeah. It is definitely it taxes your body and your mind because if you take that time off, like I get in the mindset of I feel like I'm falling behind and I'm not getting enough, production
Yes.
done. And oh,
Yeah. Are you able to take a day off like that, or does it wear on you?
oh no, I can take a day off. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's
How
and
about
and that's it's just a matter of I mean, it's kind of like once you're in the firewood mindset, you're always I think planning more ahead than anything. So I always try to get plenty done so I know in the summer if I, there might be 3 4 days I don't do anything. I mean, just the way it is.
yeah, yeah. And then our last is the winter.
Mm,
And the part of Ohio that I live in, which is northeast, we're in the upper right hand corner of the state. This area is known as the snow belt, which means the majority of our snow comes off of Lake Erie when the cold air comes down from Canada. When Lake Erie is not frozen, we can get a foot to 2 feet of snow overnight.
yeah.
And yeah, snow will slow you down, but you can always shovel it and still get stuff done.
Yep.
But usually it's the winter time. Well, winter I'm still delivering, but I think it's a good time for firewood production.
See, but your winter, you have snow, but my winter, I have snow and cold, like
Oh
20
yeah,
below zero.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well,
there's
I'm
a,
here to tell you too, though, that I have my limits with cold. Where it's just not healthy to your face
right.
starts to hurt. It's not healthy for you to be out in that kind of cold.
Your hydraulic fluid in your splitter is like molasses and it's barely moving.
Uh,
it's, yeah, and yeah, like you said, and just the, your exposure, your skin exposure to the cold. I mean, those are the days where in winter I will say, nope, I am not going out there because it's too
yeah,
cold.
I can still feel it now where I'm working in the cold outside. I'm layered up, but you still get a good heart rate up and you're sweating a little bit. And then you come inside and then you just feel miserable, because you're like clammy cold and it's just like draining.
Yes.
Still not as bad as the summertime, but it just thinks, it's painful to go back out again. Dan, I need an air conditioned factory, rent free, well lit, well ventilated.
Well, I think the term you are looking for is climate controlled factory because
Yes.
you don't want it too cold. You don't want
No.
listen to us. We sound like what are we doing making firewood? There's like no perfect time of the year to do it.
Yeah. That's That's what I was saying. I like all the seasons, but I can find something wrong with all of them too. I
Definitely.
think, yeah, I think too, when you get down to it, the only thing I'm really good at in life is, well, I'm darn good at parallel parking. I think I'm the best parallel parker in the world. But what I can do better than anyone is complain about the weather.
Complain about the weather. Oh, I don't
Oh
know.
yeah.
I think you'd have you'd run into some competition because I know a lot of people that's what they like live for.
Yeah. Dad was always on me about that. He said, all you do is complain.
Yeah, and it's but it's just one of those things that I mean, anything you do in life, obviously the weather is going to have an impact on it. But I think with firewood, it's crazy because like we were just saying, you can find if it's 10 degrees difference, it's a huge impact.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And then again, the thing that just shocked me the most, one of my blind spots with planning out Ohio wood burner, I just failed to account for the weather.
The weather. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's issue number one when you think about it.
Yeah, when it comes to
Hmm.
production, it's a big factor.
Sure, you better believe it.
Because even if you were out there with your carport and you were, if it was if it was sprinkling, you could still work. But if it was sunny and hot, would you want to be under a tin roof in 95-degree weather inside an oven?
Yeah, you'd be cooking in there. Yeah.
But just
All
makes
right.
just makes you
Well,
appreciate those good days. You get out there and when you get when you get the opportunity, get as much done as you can, I guess. Because
yeah. Yeah. Well, and then when you do get that good day, you think, what else could I be doing right now other than firewood? Maybe this is a good day to go up to the lake.
I was just gonna say, and then when you get those nice days and you go outside and you think to yourself, do I really want to split some firewood today?
Yeah. We're talking everyone out of their firewood production this year.
Yes, we're everyone's firewood dreams. We are shattering them right now.
Yeah. Maybe that's why we got so much time on our hands. When you're stacking wood, you think of all of these things that you can start complaining about. And then the
Yeah,
easiest one is the weather.
definitely. Easy
Yeah.
target.
Well, all right, Dan. I thought this was a fun discussion today. And maybe we should just turn the air conditioning down a little bit more and hang out inside.
Yeah. And I would love to hear from some of those woodhounds out there listening. What is your favorite and least favorite season of the year to produce firewood?
I like it.
And you can let me know by emailing me and Joe at thewoodhounds@gmail.com.
I like it. Yeah. And if we like your email, we will read it on the air.
And if we don't, we'll throw it away.
And we
Like the
will,
weather.
and we'll talk about you behind your back. Yeah. We would never do such a thing.
No. But I
All
think
right.
I think it all, I think another big thing is obviously geographic location. I'm sure
Yeah.
depending on where you are in the world, your favorite season for doing firewood might be a lot different. Like you might only do firewood in the winter because that's the only time you can. I don't know.
Yeah. The firewood companies in Florida and Arizona are like rolling their eyes at us right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, all right, Dan, do you think it's time we strike up the band and let's get out of here?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So, again, if you are listening, let us know your favorite season for your firewooding. When you go out and what you complain about the most, the heat or the cold, or what you enjoy the most. Let's turn this positive. Let's end on a positive note. What do you enjoy, not what do you dislike?
And we want to thank everyone for supporting the Woodhounds. You guys have made us the #1 firewood podcast in the world.
Yes, and tune in every Wednesday at 5 a.m. on your favorite podcasting platforms.
I like it. And I want to wish everyone a
Great day.